Hello, YouTube. Can you hear me? Hello, Commander Ironwolf. Hello, Derek.
Hello, YouTube.
And I forgot to shut off the volume again.
Hello, Commander.
So I guess you can hear me. You can hear me twice. Welcome. Welcome. Let me do my magic here, and we're going to go from my beautiful living room to where are we going tonight? Yes, this is also a living room. This is my Adirondacks property. Well, to be fair, my family's Adirondacks property from their living room. There's a fireplace behind me, an old CRT television still in the corner. Has to be a CRT television because if we were to upgrade it to anything else, it would be stolen. Many break-ins to this house. Unfortunately, it's in the middle of nowhere, New York, but apparently there's meth issues, and people have come in and stolen the pipes, the copper. They cut the copper out. Oh, that's pretty bad today. That way, well, we'll get it fixed next time. But they actually come in and cut the copper pipes out to get a few bucks for meth. It is very sad. Unfortunately, since nobody lives up there full time, in fact, nobody's in there most of the time, they know they can go in. We leave nothing of value up there except a few board games and knickknacks, and still people break in. It is ridiculous. Old 70s looking living room. This living room was actually new. The whole house was renovated in like 1982, thereabouts, 82, 83. So everything in there is pretty much new from then, and really hasn't changed since then. It's actually a bit of an old picture. The newer picture would just be a little bit more dirty, and maybe the fire extinguisher will have moved to the other side, but literally that would be about the only change. Darth Raven asks, was you robbed? I was robbed. Well, I wasn't personally robbed. The family's Adirondack house is robbed almost every year, sometimes more than once a year. Usually there's nothing for them to take. Last time they took anything significant, it was the copper piping, so we replaced it all with plastic piping, PEX piping, that nobody steals because it's worth nothing. Josh Street, Bird of Prey, did you get a holodeck? Yes, Josh Street. I have invented holodeck technology. As you can see, it's still being perfected. It allows me to transform between certain different venues that I've programmed into the holodeck. And today we're going to just stay at the Adirondacks house. Why 2 streams? I don't understand, Mr. Miles. Is there 2 streams? And it appears I'm going to probably get a delivery in a minute. So the dog is going to go nuts. Wrench me. Oh, Mr. Miles, yes. Yes, you're going to get your wrench. Here you go. What is it? Timeout? Remove? No. Add moderator. Sassy girl. Guys, hold on 1 second. I just gotta, we will be right back. Just gotta let my mom get the package from the door. Anyway, I can read some comments. Yep, there's 2 streams. Oh, that's not good. I hope YouTube doesn't, weekly porn delivery. No, I don't think it was porn. Do we know what it was? It was paper plates, but close, I suppose. Hello, DJ Odyssey. Good to see you. And yes, Mr. Miles has a wrench. Oh, I guess I should come back. Could you guys hear me while Be Right Back was on? I know music was playing. Porn, paper plates, same thing. Yeah, basically. Okay, so forgive the holodeck. I've got to make some adjustments. But I was thinking about this last night and this morning. And this, heads up, this is probably going to be a short stream because we did order dinner just before I started, and I don't know how long it's going to take to come. So if it gets interesting, maybe I'll come back later tonight, or we'll 2-part it tomorrow. But I personally, as a kid, I put too much faith in my teachers. I definitely looked at them as like they were perfect. To me as a kid, a teacher, if they said something, they couldn't be wrong. And it was years into my schooling before I had that epiphany that, wait, teachers can be wrong. And once I had that awakening, that's when you start to really question just about everything you've ever been taught. But I will go through a few things the teachers were wrong about at the time. I didn't know they were wrong. They probably didn't even know they were wrong in some cases. But in elementary school, there was me taking teachers too literally, and that's a whole different thing. But somewhat embarrassing story, just to understand how much I listened to teachers. In first grade, my first grade teacher said, for whatever reason, it was a test or something, you used to raise your hand in class to be called on. People were raising their hands, asking stupid questions, and she's like, no raising your hand, I don't want to hear from anybody. until the test is over or whatever. And I really had to pee. And it was before I had the trusty vacuum. And I didn't raise my hand because she said not to. But I really had to pee.
Just a good old boy.
It's nobody. And I ended up peeing my pants in first grade because she said, when she said, why didn't you ask to go to the bathroom? I said, because you said you didn't want anybody to raise their hands. That was just the way I was at the time. Probably, they'd probably call me on the spectrum today because she said it, so I didn't even come into my mind that I could break the rule if it was that important. Lore Reloaded just started a premiere for the Discovery trailer. I will not blame anyone who wants to go hear Lore's premiere of the Discovery trailer. Definitely feel free. So that was first grade. Nobody. That was Luke and Bo or Daisy calling. Well, it wasn't Daisy, I'll tell you that. But anyway, so after first grade, also in elementary school, science teacher. And I'll grant you this is minor, but for somebody who went into engineering and physics and advanced physics, in schooling, it mattered. They told us that, well, that's still debatable, but that photons have no mass. And I know a lot of people say photons have no mass, but they said the way they explained it was, well, if something has mass, if you hit it into something, it pushes it. And photons don't do that. Because the thing is, photons do have inertia. The mass is up in the air. But you can definitely push things with photons. In fact, they sell those little kits with the black and white. They look like light bulbs, and they spin on the whole thing that photons are pushing against it. A solar sail in outer space works on photons pushing the object. So that kind of screwed up my understanding of light and physics for a small bit. Not major. But later in elementary school, and now I was never big into sports, so when I learned something about sports, especially at school, it stuck with me because there wasn't a whole lot else I was learning about with sports. And a teacher said that, wild card teams, they can't go to the Super Bowl or the World Series. I'm like, okay, I just assumed that to be true. For maybe 10 or 15 years of my life, I assumed that teacher knew what they were talking about, and that wild card teams, even though they get to play in the playoffs, weren't allowed to actually get to the championship game. Once I actually started following baseball, my freshman year in college, I of course found out that is not true. Wild card teams have the same exact, well, not the same chance because they probably aren't as good as the other teams, but they can certainly get to the World Series or the Super Bowl, or if they're in any other sport, they can get to the championship game. There was nothing stopping wildcard teams from getting to the championships. Why did the teachers say that? I have no idea. My guess is they just didn't know what they were doing. We're going to speed along to high school. Now, this is again about physics, but this one was much more important because this was AP Physics. Okay, so this was supposed to be a college-level physics class I was taking my senior year of high school. And the teacher was a very well-qualified physics teacher, but he didn't understand how matter and antimatter work. And you would think just by being a Star Trek fan, you would understand this. But this was one of the few times that I knew I was right enough that I had to call him out on it. He said that when matter and antimatter collide, all that's the antimatter is converted to energy, and all that you're left with is the original matter. And if you know what I'm talking about, you understand the problem with that. When matter and antimatter collide, they annihilate each other. You're left with pure energy and no mass left behind. So when I tried to explain that to him, he was not 100% sure I was right. He's like, well, if that's true, then why is the universe all matter? Because if the Big Bang created equal amounts of matter and antimatter, then they would have annihilated each other. And I'll be right back again, guys. Sorry about that. Yeah. We can use my head. So, anyway, yeah. Matter and antimatter. Okay, I'll look at comments. Hold on. Okay, DJ Odyssey says he's not leaving. Lore can wait. Darth Raven says he's watching both. I'm going to watch Lore. Catch you later, Bird. No problem, Darth. Commander Ironwolf, my 6th grade science teacher told me that global warming didn't exist. Well, maybe your 6th grade science teacher was right. Well, global warming probably exists, but I guess the debate is what's causing it. I'm not 100% convinced on that one. Chief Engineer Mr. Miles says he's cooking. Sorry for being so quiet. Nothing to apologize for, Mr. Miles. This is not a usual stream. Don't worry about it. In fact, I hope you're cooking something good. Yes, Josh says make sure you have enough for all of us. Mr. Miles says for some reason matter won out over antimatter. Nobody is sure why. Yeah, well, let's be honest. Nobody's really sure how the universe started. I mean, the Big Bang Theory is nice, but where did the Big Bang come from? Where did all the matter and all that stuff come from? In quantum physics, it just popped into existence. I have so many issues with theoretical physics, astronomy, science, and religion, because they all converge at the moment of creation, and they all have the same fundamental question, and neither can ever provide the answer. Whether it's science, is what came before the Big Bang or what caused the Big Bang. In religion, the question is, where did God come from, or who created God? And nobody will ever give you the answer to either of those to any satisfaction, because they're just literally impossible for us to grasp, at least at this point in our understanding of the universe and or religion. So, yeah, there's that. Energy is matter, but in a different form. That's certainly a way. I mean, once Einstein showed that energy, there was a formula to convert matter into energy, and the amount of energy you'd get from any amount of matter. Some of the laws of thermodynamics were tweaked, because you used to say that matter could neither be created nor destroyed, but later that had to become the matter energy was neither created nor destroyed. So energy plus matter, the total has to be the same, more or less, until you get to quantum and vacuum energy, and then all the logic goes out the window. Deep thoughts for a Friday evening. Yeah, I wasn't planning on it being deep thoughts, and I wasn't planning on it being particularly long, and it's not going to be, because I'll be closing this down in a few minutes. But just to get back to the teachers, yeah. So AP Physics, that was a It's nobody. I have this service called NoMoRobo, nomorobo.com, and it blocks robocalls, but it has to ring once. And I can see on the caller ID that it shows spam, so I know it's nobody. If you're in the United States and you get a lot of robocalls, I strongly suggest signing up for nomorobo.com. NOMO Robo ROBO.com. Anyway, so that teacher kind of screwed me up. Well, no, that one didn't screw me up. That one I had to teach. Then we get to college. And of course, by college, my eyes had opened. Math classes, the teachers pretty much, ooh, wow, that's getting bad. The math, the engineering, the science, they generally knew what they were talking about. The liberal arts teachers, let's face it, they teach a lot more opinions than facts. And I just wasn't buying a lot of their opinions. But I knew enough to keep my mouth shut, get my A, and move on, because it really wasn't worth debating any of them. So, Chief Engineer Mr. Miles, all praise the wrench. Commander Ironwolf, have an easy answer for where did God come from? Your imagination. DJ Odyssey, I thought Waspinator's big brain created it all. Deep thoughts make my brain hurt. Josh Street, I thought Anti-Tracker tried to light his fart on fire and that caused the Big Bang. DJ Odyssey likes spam though. You like spam the meat or spam the spam? DJ Odyssey agrees with me on that one about liberal arts teachers. Darth Raven, Mia's back to you, misses this one. Oh, Darth, this one is not going to be on much longer. Sorry about that. Mr. Miles, brains are for idiots. Maybe I shouldn't have given you a wrench? No, that's fine. This DJ Odyssey, the meat first, the spam second. I love to mess with their heads when they call. Okay. Human spammers, yes, I do often mess with them. But these are specifically robocalls. So there's literally nobody to mess with. They're just robot calls. You can't, I mean, you could hit a number and then maybe get connected to a human, but the reality is that human has absolutely no idea how it is you got connected to them. They are so far down the totem pole, they don't know that there's robocalls going out, bringing you to them. I mean, you could yell at them if you want. I have on occasion, but I've come to realize that is kind of pointless. The people who call you up, cold call you, yeah, that's a different story. But robocalls, they're just better ignored for everyone. Darth says, I'm going to say something that you will hate, but I have hope for Discovery Season 2. I don't hate that, Darth. I wish you luck. Nothing would make me happier than to see Discovery Season 2 somehow resurrect the franchise and make us all agree that, wow, Alex Kurtzman knows what he's doing. He should have been in charge all along, and this is the Star Trek we want. And if it is good, I will be the first one to say, great job. Because I do want good Star Trek. I find it very unlikely, given the situation they're in, that they will be able to pull it off. But I don't wish for them to fail. I don't wish for them to fail. I wish for them to do good. To be honest, I think to do good, they've basically got to reset the whole franchise and just cut off Discovery and start fresh. But if they can find a way to do it, more power to them. DJ Odyssey says, we won't hate you, Darth. Just don't ever see it happening. Yeah, basically, exactly. Darth Raven says, we had a spate of spam calls. So when one called, I picked up the phone and said stuff. Hello, Irish Cyber Intelligence. Cyber Crimes Division. Call is being monitored. Agent Thompson, how may I help you? Yeah, that's a good one. Things like that. Pick up, this is FBI agent, whatever. How can I help you? Or, this is 911. Or else say Waterford City Morgue. How may I help you? DJ Odyssey. My bets are Star Trek and Doctor Who will be canceled after next season. I actually I don't watch Doctor Who. I hear what's going on Anti-Tracker and Doomcock and the other people who talk about it, but I tried to get into Doctor Who. I watched a few episodes probably 15 years ago, 12 years ago, something like that. It didn't do anything for me. I watched a couple episodes over the years since. One episode, it looked like they had replicators, like from Stargate, like mechanical spiders trying to destroy the ship or something. And I don't know. I saw like maybe 4 or 5 episodes in total. Absolutely none of them seemed interesting at all to me. So I just stopped watching. But, like I said, if you enjoy it, good for you. I'm not judging. Doctor Who brings in so much money that it will be regenerated. Next season is 2020. If it's a money maker, they're gonna keep making it. BBC makes they're not going to give up on Moneymaker. Even when Top Gear, which was probably their biggest moneymaker, and what was that, Jeremy Clarkson just punched some guy, punched a producer in the face. They didn't cancel the show. They tried to keep them, they couldn't, and they ended up with a whole different cast. Even though the show is much suckier now, they didn't give up on it, just too much money at stake. So if Top Gear is still going, Doctor Who will still be going. Hey guys, I'm going to call it a night. I know it hasn't been very long, but my dinner has come, and Gawk is best served live. You don't want them to kill themselves. DJ Odyssey says it's a sad thing though. It's not the writers per se like CBS. The BBC will continue to push what they want because Ant brought them back down. Good night, Bird of Prey. Thank you, DJ. Enjoy your dinner. Thank you, Darth. Have a good one, everyone else. See you later, Derek. Thank you, all of you guys, for coming. It means a lot. I know this was a weird subject tonight. It was just something I'd been thinking of. I wanted to get it out there. I'll expand on it some other time. Have a good night, and Qapla.
you.